I wanted to talk about the Vampire Lestat season finale that aired yesterday. I actually watched it and I didn't do a review directly after because I really wanted to kind of dwell on the episode. To be honest with you, I was trying to figure out if I liked it or not, right? For the most part, I've come to the conclusion that I did like it, but I just felt that it was a tad bit underwhelming. But there are aspects about the show that I think are important, and I think that they've done masterfully. But at the same time, what I what I would say that I like the most about the finale is that it strayed away from the tour band indie documentary style craziness of the entire season, right? So I really wasn't digging that for the most part this season. I'm more of a fan of season 1 and 2 of Interview with the Vampire. The intellectual and emotional aspects that Louis projected, um, as he is showing all of us, the audience, his experience in Louisiana. I just really thought that that was amazing storytelling. And this season, The Vampire Lestat is amazing storytelling as well. Don't get it twisted.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I just didn't appreciate all of the artsy, we're gonna follow this guy as he tours across America and does drugs and just it's crazy. Now for one episode, I think it's cool. For one episode, that artistic sort of indie film making style and aesthetic, I think it's cool for an episode. But I was kind of surprised and kind of taken aback that they took this entire season to project that sort of style. Am I the only one who feels that way?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
If I'm not, please share your comments in my comment section below and let me know if I'm crazy or not. You feel me? Also, too, if you like my reviews, please like, share, and subscribe. So the problem with the season for me was that one thing, it was mayhem and craziness the entire way. And I don't mind that because it gave the actor who plays Lestat a chance to really sort of play his musical instrument, so to speak, when it comes to performing the craft of acting. And that's what I appreciated. Shouts out to him, by the way, because the amount of like song rehearsals and dance rehearsals and stage performances and just like the physical taxing aspect of this season for him probably was extremely challenging. So shout out to him for just doing the whole thing 100%. You feel me? But I just really feel like this finale episode kind of shows us what is in store for us in the future of Anne Rice's series, right? Because if you really, really, really pay attention to the episode, it was sort of straying away from that artsy style, right? And we start off the episode with Lestat kind of walking through some dream state. And as he's walking through his dream state, he's sort of in like a transition from death. And he's sort of dangling in the spiritual realm a bit, right? And he's walking in the woods and he's conscious of the fact that he can exist in daylight. It's daytime, but he knows that he's still hungry. He still has the thirst and the hunger. So all of a sudden, his bandmates pass him by with, dishes ready to be served. And they go into town, and then he enters a room, and it's all of the people he's turned into vampires or has turned him, basically holding court and basically judging him the entire episode. It was wild. And I felt that exploration into his psyche was important for us, the audience, to see, because it explains, some of the motivations that Lestat had in the past, especially for those of us who haven't read the books and are just fans of the movies and the shows like me, it gave us a look into his psyche, and it's something that actually helps me to it gives me encouragement to purchase the books, because I want to know more about that. But yeah, then he's sitting at the table and he sees Louis there. He knows something is up, and him and Louis are in a horrible predicament in real life. Him and Louis have their heads severed, and the culprits behind it is Daniel Malloy and Armand. And, you know, Armand is the masterminds of all masterminds. I said before in a previous review that I don't like Armand. And I know that, you know, in the books, a lot of you fans of the novels know he had an extremely troubled past, which is sort of exemplified in this episode. A conversation between him and Louis showed that. But still, I feel like, you know, even though he had that troubled past, what he's doing to people around him is so unnecessary, in my opinion. I expressed such great love for the TV show version of Claudia. And before I ask the question, right, I just need to know, what in the world does Anne Rice have against Claudia? Like, I'm talking about in real life, right? Like, was there some little black girl like hiding in her closet at night, and every time she tried to go to sleep, she just pop out that bitch and it's like, I'm gonna scare you, Anne Rice. Like, and she started writing about her, or I don't know Anne Rice's history like that. And now I'm like gonna watch him like decapitate her doppelganger, Regina. I talked major crap about Regina, but you know what? I think I was kind of right about that, because this whole fiasco of Louis meeting her in a diner, it was all planned. It was all curated. It was artificial, developed by Armand, and it seems that she was just following direction. So then that made me even more like, yeah, I don't care about Regina. But then again, you know, she's an innocent bystander in all of this. And this is all Armand's plan.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
But the visuals of just seeing Louis' decapitated head and his body just like in front of him, trying to write messages on a piece of paper, there was something about that that was just absolutely disturbing, but seemed intimately intimately vexing. That's what I would say. Intimately vexing. That's what it felt like. Like Armand was doing something to Louis on purpose. And it seems as though this was an intimately vexing, vengeful thing, because, you know, Louis figured out in this fiasco of his head being severed and being basically emotionally tortured by Armand in this moment, as Regina sits in front of him, ready to slit her wrists from being ordered to do that by Armand, is that Louis understood that Armand just wanted everyone to hurt like he was hurting, essentially. And he apologized to him that he could not love him the way he needed to be loved. And I get that. And Louis is right. But I hope none of you guys hate me out there. But at the same time, it's still unnecessary. Like, what the hell is Armand doing? Right? And then Daniel Malloy, he's in the bowling alley. Like, you have Lestat's head, arguably the most powerful vampire around right now, besides Akasha, and you decide to go to a bowling alley? Like, what? I really don't like Daniel Malloy. So then the Watchers, you know, show up, oh no, we're gonna need that head. We're still trying to do the great conversion. He's a part of our plans. So now Daniel Malloy is sort of outnumbered and outpowered. And like a petulant child, he turns around at the Watcher and gives that scowling hurl in his face, like no, shows his fangs. And the way the Watcher looked back at him like, I know you ain't looking at us like this. So they never show what happened to Daniel Malloy, but I would like to see what happened to Daniel Malloy in the next season. And I appreciate the fact that they strayed away from the, let's film a tour band documentary, shaky camera, all that stuff. It was fun in the beginning, but then it got back to it. If it got back to it, I definitely was going to have a problem. But seeing Lestat confront all the people he had wronged in the past based on his moods was extremely interesting to me. And then, we have Daniel Malloy's head pops out from the ceiling of the room and Lestat's subconscious, basically cussing him out. And Daniel Malloy, oh my God. It was that scene, that person I don't like, mixed with another artsy decision by the director that I'm like, I could have done without that. You feel me? This doesn't mean I didn't like the episode. There were just little small pieces that I thought that I could have gone without that, The scene between Louis and Armand was just so powerful to me because it showed that Louis understood his pain. He was a black man in New Orleans during the time when it was difficult, and from different places of the world, black folks was going through a similar type of thing that Armand had experienced before in his past. So Louis was illustrating to him that he could relate. Unfortunately, this wasn't a conversation that they both had together when they were together. Talk about sharing cultures when you're in a relationship. If you have some trauma that you can relate to, why not just verbalize that? This is why communication is key. You feel me?
Explain yourself.
I really thought that Regina was gonna die in that scene too, but no, they let her go. Armand let her go. And then we have a visual representation of Lestat's trauma, something that he actually inflicted upon Claudia in, I believe, season 1 or 2 of Interview with the Vampire, where he made Claudia watch someone burn, just like his mother made him watch the supposed witches burn when he was a kid. I thought that was interesting. A lot of his psychotic problems actually comes from the instability of his mom living in a time period that did not benefit her. And then, this is mostly unscripted because I really wanted to really think about what I enjoyed about it and what I didn't. Just thinking back on Armand's hand on his face like this when Louis was illustrating to him in his head, like, I know exactly how you feel, and I'm sorry I couldn't be the person to give you what you needed. That was deep for me. Like, that was like, whoa, and then we see Lestat again, and he is in like a hall doing his last performance, and there was something unexpected that happened. Lestat is confronted by Louis' brother, someone who probably would feel betrayed by Louis and has always seen Lestat as an enemy. And I think the show did an interesting thing about addressing prejudices. Um, when Louis' brother looked up at the light and said, "Yes, ma'am." Just to be clear, I don't think God is a woman, but I just thought it was an interesting scene because I never would expect Louis' brother to make another appearance or come back and even speak to Lestat. So it seems that Lestat was really subconsciously um, dealing with a lot of things, or addressing a lot of guilt he had about things he did to people in the past, which I thought was extremely interesting. Um, then the episode progresses, and the Watcher, they save both Louis and Lestat and put their heads back on their bodies. And Lestat wakes up in his tour band again. And when I saw that bus, I was like, oh my God, not again. Not again, We end the episode with Lestat talking into a microphone, which I believe he was recording his very, very last song on the album with a last message. I believe it was his last. I was assuming it was. And he sets the microphone down. He push stop on the recorder and walks outside. And you see mayhem. You see buildings blown up. You see his place in the front blown up. You see like random people walking around out there. And I'm thinking, whoa, this is probably what the Great Conversion. This is probably something Lestat did. I mean, not Lestat, but Akasha did, Queen Akasha, to ruin the world. And this is what's going to lead us into the next season. That's where it ended for me. And it ended with just a close up, and then it at Lestat's face, and then blacked out. And I think that he feels responsible for whatever happened, which makes me excited to see the next season. I hope that the next season will follow the same trajectory and style that the first two seasons of Interview with the Vampire followed. And it looked like we're kind of getting back to that. I don't think Armand should be left off the hook like that easy. I think he has to be dealt with. It's like that thing, hurt people, right? So he's going to continue to hurt people, in my opinion. Psychologically, I don't think he can be fixed. So someone needs to deal with him, and I hope it's Louis. Louis cares enough about him to put him down. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I feel. What I will say to end this, guys, is that this entire season was emotionally heavy, right? It was some really, really down moments in this episode. Not the episode, but in the entire series. So I'm kind of happy that this finale was more underwhelming, right? Because it felt like it didn't drain me. I didn't feel drained at all whatsoever. And it made me hopeful for the next season. And I'm even more excited to know that it seems like they're possibly going to follow the trajectory of the first two seasons. So we're going to get away from all this artsy crap and focus more on intellectual storytelling and cinematography and lighting and music and all that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Vampire Lestat season finale. Please share your comments below. Please share what you think of this. Usually I do like a whole bunch of edits and stuff like that in my videos, but I just wanted to talk to the camera and share my honest thoughts on the finale. So this Dark Lake edit is just going to be me speaking. But I really appreciate every single last one of you guys for being here and just listening to my perspective and sharing this passion that we all have for this show. I can't wait to read the books, and I'm always just so excited to see what everyone has to say in the comments, from my Facebook group to YouTube comment section. I've talked to some of you, and you all seem so passionate and energetic about my theories or my complaints, or different ideas that we all have that we can share. And you even educate me on the books and why I feel certain ways about the characters from me just having an introduction to the visual adaptation. And I just think that's really cool. The fact that some of you take the time out to send comments here and share your thoughts and help a brother out. I really appreciate that. This has been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to continue this YouTube journey with all of you. This is the author Lake Sevens, and you are in a Dark Lake edit. Let's go.
Whoa, 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 whoa.